You're listening to WSTU Stewart.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Listen, guess what today is?
It's Hump Day.
Woohoo is right.
That's right. It's Hump Day.
It's that mystical, magical time once
The
again.
mystical, magical time of Hump Day. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
We'll go with that.
Why not?
It works for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, here we are. It's another Wednesday.
Yep.
And another week of golf in between when we were here last and now. Got some good weather out there right now. It's been pretty for golf the last couple of days. It kind of makes me a little sad that I'm working.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe there is something to this. If you didn't have a job,
Right.
Of course, it takes money to play golf, and if you're not working, you don't have any money, and
that's
it's
the rub, isn't it?
It just winds up. It's just that one thing. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Didn't win the lottery, and if I do win the lottery, I'm going to buy you a new microphone. so you don't have this Rube Goldberg thing going on here trying to put this thing together.
When our chief engineer said he was fixing our equipment, he fixed this mic. This used to be mic 2. Mm-hmm. This used to be your mic.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he took it away from the studio and took one of the desk mics and reworked it and made that the boom mic.
Uh-huh.
And so we were having an issue with a broken wire in mic 1, which is my mic.
Uh-huh.
So he comes in, ta-da, we'll solve this problem. And what does he do? He dusts off mic 2 with the goofy arrangement in the attachment.
The way it's attached.
Yeah.
Seems like the more you touch it, the worse it gets.
Oh my God.
But yeah.
It's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Well, it's like a little bit of thread lock on there would help that stop.
Right.
From coming off.
Well, I don't know what caught. Well, they should have.
We wouldn't want to do that.
Well, they should, instead of using a regular washer, they should have used
a lock nut.
A lock washer.
Yeah.
Lock nut or lock washer. Yeah. I'm gonna turn off my mic.
I have to bring my toolbox next week just to fix this stupid thing.
Right.
And Mr. Arlen Bento joins us in the studio.
Yeah, hello,
everybody. Mr. Arlen.
I'm doing good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the show.
Busy again this week?
Oh yeah,
pretty busy. I mean, the weather's been beautiful. I'm thinking a lot of people are going to want to play golf, and maybe they didn't play so well, so they came to see you.
That's exactly what happened.
Maybe
Well, my stuff's.
Maybe they played really good. And they were like, man, I gotta figure out what it is I'm doing right. I better go talk to Arlen.
That doesn't happen. you would think that would make sense, but no,
Yeah, really. If only it worked that way.
So many people are afraid of golf lessons. They I had like a couple last week. They just don't like to take them because most golf lessons people struggle, right? They come in.
We were trying something different, and it doesn't work. So you're like, well, this isn't.
Well, that's the half
doesn't
work.
work. It's different.
1 inch in golf in a golf swing change feels like it's the end of the world, especially for people that traditionally come over the top. Like I tell people all the time, the golf lesson is a learning thing. So you come in, you can get your lesson, you learn, you get the knowledge, you understand,
and off you go.
Well, you understand what you're supposed to do, whether you want to make the adjustment and do it. That's kind of up to the person, right?
Now today's society has a very short attention span.
Oh, so true.
So what? How long is a normal lesson in what would you consider to be too long a lesson? Like, okay, this person's, people just aren't gonna do this for this amount of time. I really can't spend an hour with them or an hour and a half, but 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that's perfect. Or what?
So I went to a 45-minute format, and that seems to be just enough. If you go to 30, because if there is a communication, like a back and forth, you kind of lose the ability to do enough ball striking.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, as you know, because I primarily coach indoors, you get a lot more ball striking indoors than you do outdoors.
Okay.
Because outdoors you're dealing with, you know, what did the ball do, and then people don't.
Yeah, they gotta watch it till it lands to see where it
It's not
went.
even that. It's just like if you miss one, their brain won't get out of the way because they missed it, and they think that when they take a golf lesson, they should hit the ball better.
Mhm.
And so I'm not that kind of coach. I'm more like, okay, let's look at your swing. You know, this is what I see.
Mhm.
You know, based on what you're telling me and what I'm seeing with the computer and the video, this is what I see is the problem. So this is how we can choose to fix this. So we talk about the fix, and then I usually do things like I said, but you know, really, if you really want to fix this, this is not something that people just change tomorrow. I mean, especially if it's something that's really not good. So I break it down to like 1 or 2 drills, just 1 or 2 drills. And I say, look, you got to work on this. And if you can't work on it, it's not going to get better. I mean, it's just not going to become part of your swing. And then I shoot a little video at the end of my session, and I give them a video link so they can remember, you know, what they worked on. So that process creates learning. And then people have to decide if they want to keep going and learn more, because frustration in golf is always because people just don't know what they did.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that's how it should be. I think if you know what you did wrong because you have knowledge, you won't be upset. So, you know, if you come over the top and you hit a big ball to right all the time or once in a while, when you make that move when you play, you'd be like, oh my goodness, I just made that move. The question is, what do you do to fix? You know, what's your change to get away from the swing that you know isn't good? And, you know, for some people it's, you know, turning your shoulders or, you know, feeling like the club comes from the inside or whatever the fix is. That's learning. I enjoy that part. That's why I've been so successful with the juniors. You know, you can train them over time, but I've been doing
Kids
this.
can be taught.
Oh, kids are amazing. But grown-ups can be taught too. It's just the grown-ups don't want to learn. They don't want to listen to you, and they don't want to. I just did this today. I mean, the 2 lessons, the 2 grown-ups I had today are adults. You have to tell your brain what you want it to do. You cannot just sit there and guess. I mean, if you're trying to make a change, it's no different than, you know, what do you want to do? You want to learn to play guitar? You want to learn to play piano? You want to learn to write Chinese or speak Spanish? Or, you know, you can't just show up and listen for 30 minutes and just go do it. But, you know, golf looks so easy, you know. So anyway, that's what I do. And so I call it coaching, and either you like it and you know, you give me 5 try. I sell packages of 5. And that seems to be, and I give a big discount when people sign up for 5. And that seems to be a really good way to get through some really good drills. And nothing crazy.
And how often does someone come? Do they come every week, every other week, every month,
So
5 days in a row? I mean,
well,
what seems to be the
normal improvement for me is I basically, when I say I'm going to sell you a package of 5, is I expect you to come every week. That's why I'm giving you this discount.
Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, if you're willing to come in and learn and go through these 5 sessions and then go practice and bring me feedback, I mean, it's a really good system. And then they decide at the 5, that's what it turns into, whether it's maintenance or they realize that they haven't learned, they haven't gotten it.
They need to go play tennis.
You know, I never say that. I never get that. I have James. You know, and I always say this to people that take lessons. You know, I'm working with you, and it's a relationship, right? But I'm working with 40 other people this week. So I mean, I see swings from every different perspective.
Oh, I bet.
So my perspective is very different than yours. I know what I'm looking at. I know what I can tell when you don't practice. I can tell when you walk in and it's like, what are we doing again? And
Yeah, you haven't picked up a club since you were here last week for your last lesson.
So you asked me when's what's enough. So like I have people on what I call double ups. You know, like you come in, you say you want to get better. Okay, I'm showing you why you're not getting better, but you won't put the time in. So let's double up. And they go, what do you mean? Well, you come Wednesday, come Sunday. Like let's double up for a couple of weeks
just to get you in tune and moving. Okay.
No different than a trainer in a gym or people that, you know, if you need to have more work and you're not motivated, you know, you pay somebody to help you. And so that's why I consider it a coaching program. It's been extremely effective. I mean, I can't think of one person this year so far that has said that wasn't just, really, really glad about their lessons. Well, that actually, they're right on cue. So that was my last lesson. Sending me a thank you text saying how much he enjoyed learning about why he does what he does. And this is a great example. This is a guy with a classic, over the top, loves golf, loves competing at it, loves gambling at it, loves every tournament he can play in, just loves it. But, major over the top and has a lot of limitations. So, he got better, but he can't make the change. He just can't. He doesn't have the time or wants to. So it's kind of like I say, it's like riding on a teeter-totter or driving a boat. With a boat, you're never really going straight. You're always going one way and kind of being pulled back.
Yeah.
So the golf swing's kind of like, okay, so you come in for your lesson and your workout, whatever, and we're going to work hard at getting to where you're supposed to be. And it comes out. And the shots aren't always perfect, but the motion gets better. Then all of a sudden they catch one and they realize, there it is, Now, if you swing 150 times twice a week working on something, it's going to get better. So I might not get you where I want you exactly, but it'll be better than where you came in. Okay. So that's where this guy is, right? So it's not where I want him, but it's better than where he was. Okay. So he's playing better. That makes sense. Yeah. And so that's kind of what golf really comes down to. It's just, giving people, coaching them, helping them, and making them understand, one, it's really hard. Stop beating yourself up. And here's what you got to do to get better. And if you don't want to do the work, then don't be upset if the results don't come out. Pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So either you like it or you don't. Some people, I do get the one guy that I help them at, they don't buy into like they want to get after it. Yeah. So I do the best I can, with the one session I got. So that's why I said 45 minutes works with a video. And then and now I got a lot of people starting to go outdoors. Once you get through your sessions indoors, you do have to work outdoors. So I just don't like taking people outdoors until I've explained to them everything that I think is important.
Yeah, not everybody has a basement where they can practice.
Yeah, but Frank, I take it all away from him. I say, I don't even need you can work on the stuff I give you without a golf club.
Yeah.
I mean, most of it's body motion, getting off your feet and learning to turn and kind of getting timing. I give them drills where, there's a lot of baseball applications to the golf swing. The golf swing's basically a underhand throw. If you think about it, you kind of turn and you kind of drop your shoulder and you kind of come from the inside and you toss it. So it's not a motion that isn't comfortable. It's just, why would I do that to hit something on the ground? That makes no sense. Like, why would I turn and drop my shoulder and kind of, to come from the inside? And how hard it is. Your swing's a little bit steep, always has been, probably still is, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's a move that you get away with. But again, it's really tough to be consistent when you're steep. Yeah. And my swing has never been, what I call a dream swing. I have two things running for 19. I have two things running. One's called free speed. It's free. If you come learn this move, it creates centrifugal force. And I'm starting to use an analogy that I piggybacked off of somebody I read. It's when a boat pulls a water skier, the water skier can only travel as fast as the boat is moving until the boat turns. Yeah. As soon as the boat turns, when the tension's on the line, centrifugal force will speed the water skier up a lot. Yeah. That's free speed. So the golf swing, the concept is, your body's the boat. Your arms and your hands and the club are the line. Yeah. And the water skier would be the club. So if you turn and use your body to turn and you keep your arms and keep everything behind you, it speeds up right up.
They have to speed up.
And then the other thing is that's called my free speed. And then the other one I have is there's a position in the golf swing that you have to be on to do it correctly and have like that picture perfect swing. So I show it to people, and it's not what they think, and it's not a move that a lot of people coach. But I put them in a position And I just teach them how to move their body, and it goes right back to the ground, and it's perfect. And they do it, they hit it perfect.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. So, anyway.
Is that German chocolate cake, or is it
It's dead solid,
pineapple upside down
dead
cake?
solid square club face cake.
There you go.
And that's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah.
And everybody gets excited, and then they try to hit it too hard and miss the swing all up. You just stay right there.
There you go.
It just, that's your shot. That's a perfectly struck golf ball. Boy, if I could just hit it 10 yards more or 20 yards more, because, you know,
Yeah.
they don't understand how fast the tour guys are and how quick they are and all the things.
And how perfect their timing is.
It looks like it's like, you know, like even I get, you know, I watched the tournament this weekend, a little bits and pieces, and you know, they just, it looks so simple.
Effortless.
Oh, but they're swinging so fast, and there's so much movement and so much precise time. I mean, golf, you're talking about, you know, 30 seconds of millimeters off,
Yeah.
causing haywire,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
So sometimes, you know, you have to, you know, kind of think about that. But anyway, I'm so excited when I see players, and actually Craig's following me. He's on Facebook. He's on my live. Say, you just said sweet, but you know, we're talking about how much he loves to play, and but you know, he knows if he makes a good turn and comes from the inside, he hits it better. But that's how you just deliver the motion over and over. So it's pretty fun.
Well, speaking of cake, they had some retirement cake at the Waste Management Phoenix Open this weekend.
I did not see that.
Johnny Miller.
Oh, that was
It was Johnny Miller's last tournament as an announcer. He's been announcing for 30 years.
It doesn't seem
I did
that way.
not think he'd been a golf analyst for 30 years.
Yeah.
Didn't seem that long.
Like he's that old, but I guess
Yeah.
he has been, yeah.
Final broadcast came on Saturday afternoon. It was an intentional move by NBC, so they could properly say goodbye to Johnny without
Cutting the coverage.
everything going into the final round.
Right.
You know, we don't want to interrupt, you know, the drama that might be going on the golf course. People wanted to watch that with, okay, why are they saying goodbye to Johnny? So
Right.
I think it was a brilliant move. It was very
Well,
very
and I actually happened to catch that Saturday, and and they did a lot.
Yeah,
they talked
did.
a lot.
Yep.
Did you see the thing with the cheese whiz?
I did not see that part.
You didn't see that part?
No,
That was so Johnny Miller keeps a can of cheese whiz. No, and they showed it. They showed the clip, and he just squirts it in his mouth as he does that's his thing.
Like an 8-year-old would do.
Yeah. So they showed a video of him like leaning back, and he's watching the broadcast, and then the guy goes, "Here it comes. Here it comes." Whoever was the announcer with him, the guy that was really fond of him, he goes, "Here it comes," and he raises the thing's butt. Squirt. He goes like, "Look for it. Watch for it. Watch for it." It's like, and he just put aside his mouth like squirt, 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 squirt. You couldn't see it. He sort of sucked. He sort of sucked on it, like you know, like. And I'm like, "Whoa." So that threw me off for a while. I mean, I was discombobulated. I was like, "So wait a second." So Johnny Miller sucks on cheese whiz that's his food. And I'm like, Johnny, do you know, like, think about that. They say he can go through 6 cans.
Wow.
In a telecast.
Wow.
That's his food. He loves it. Isn't that a great story? 30 years of cheese whiz? I just think that's funny. So anyway, you get to throw that on top of whatever you were going to go with. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's great though.
That's so
Yeah,
funny.
I saw the Thunderbirds were there.
Yeah.
He's an honorary. He's been an honorary member of the Thunderbirds for many years. He's from
Whatever
that
that
area.
means,
And they gave him a scooter. It's
like an old person like
one of those golf scooter things you see at the merchandise show.
The boards, like the surfboard,
almost like a board, but it had big wheels on either end of it.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, that's pretty slick.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were like, this way you can get around the golf course a little easier, and so that was pretty neat.
You know, he just rolled.
They had it painted up for him. It was.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite figure out why it wasn't plaid like the pants he used to wear back in the 70s.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. But oh man, a lot of people hit or miss with Johnny.
My dad can't stand.
A lot of guys.
My dad cannot stand.
I love him. I love Johnny Miller. I've met him a few times.
He doesn't bug me.
and they even asked him about that. They said, you've come across as being very acidic, I guess would be the word for, to some of these guys. And
like suffer.
And Johnny said, well, he says these guys. He says, I played. I know what it's like out here. And he says, and I was at the top of the golf game for a while. He says, I was the best player in the world. He says, I know what it's like to be there and what it takes to stay there and what it takes to win tournaments and everything else. He says, these guys are supposed to be the best players on the planet. He says, and when they do some of the stuff they do, it's like how can you be one of the best top 100 players on the world
and do this
and do this?
Yeah.
He says, so I call him out on it because it's like you got to learn from this, and how can you not learn unless somebody tells you or you realize it's a stupid thing to do? He says, so hey, maybe he says, I was never taught to pull punches, so that's
and that's what we just had this conversation because. My dad brought it up. It wasn't even part of this thing. And you know what? I might have been a Thursday or Friday. He said, I just can't take Johnny Miller. And I said, why didn't you like him? Because he just thinks he knows everything, and he always says, this is what's going to happen, and this is where the putt's going to break, and this is what it's going to do, and then it doesn't. And he says, they must have read it wrong, or they must have. It's like he was wrong. But 30 years, I think 30 years. Sometimes. It'd be interesting to see who they're going to put in this place, because when you do have an authority like that, it is a really, and it's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
People don't realize the prep time.
Oh yeah.
The things that you have to pay attention to get it.
Yeah.
We do this show once a week, and you're much more in tune to golf and what's going on than I feel like I am. Right? Like I find myself having to make sure I watch. Just so that if we talk about stuff, I got
an idea. Yeah, well, like the cheese. I didn't see the cheese.
Right. We miss stuff, but now imagine doing it for a living, right?
Yeah.
And having to do an event, but I can see 1 week, but week after week. Now maybe there's some similarities. The names stay the same. The plots change a little.
Yeah.
There's some, and of course he's getting a lot of info. It's not like he doesn't have a team that's giving him his information as he needs it.
Yeah,
but
they're in his ear
it's
a little bit, but
still
he's got to know some of it, or it won't make sense coming through.
Who would be? Did they say?
I think Azinger was who they announced.
That's what you told me. And then again, that's another guy. But again, to be a good color guy, you got to know your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Azinger will be good at it too. Yeah. I couldn't see some other people, but I hope it works out.
One. Like we said, he's famous for kind of saying it how it is.
Right.
Towards the end of the day on Saturday, Russell Knox, Scotsman, badly misread a putt on the 16th hole at the TPC Scottsdale. Miller's comment, that was as bad as the food in Scotland.
Is that not Tommy Miller? Is that not Tommy Miller? Right?
Yeah.
And he probably went, I just said that, didn't I? Everybody rolled their eyes, and every announcer that was there said, there's Johnny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's great.
That is a classic line right there.
1989
is when he started.
He got he had decided that because of his game, struggling with his game, we knew he was struggling as a putter, couldn't putt.
Right.
Putting was driving him nuts. Decided he was going to more or less retire, going to play a few events in California and Arizona, and that'd be about it. He said 3 days after his announcement, he gets a call from NBC's Larry Cirillo. Said, Lee Trevino is going to the senior tour, and we want to give you his announcing job. Will you take it? Miller said, I asked, what makes you think I could do that job? He said he wavered at first, but his wife Linda convinced him.
Give it a shot.
It's the thing to do.
Can you imagine Linda thinking he's going to be in the house every day after 25, 30 years of playing golf? She's like, really? No, Johnny, get a job, Johnny. Perfect.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
She's like, no way, Johnny, time to go. It's been 3 days. Oh my gosh, you got to get a job. I got to hear one more story about your bulky putter.
Yeah, in his first event, Miller famously said that Peter Jacobsen had an easy shot to choke on, as he attempted to hit a tough shot over water off a downhill lie. Basically, hey, this is a tough shot. He could, you could screw this up pretty easy, even if
He did.
and he did. So,
And the rest is history.
and the rest is history. 30 years later.
Well, congratulations to him. We have to say
Johnny.
congratulations.
Yeah, Johnny's.
And hopefully Paul Azinger. But I think controversy makes color. I mean, you got to have that angle. Now, I've been talking about this for a while, just with friends and stuff. But with the Super Bowl and the Patriots and all that stuff. But Tony Romo was so fun to listen to as a commentator.
He's very good.
He is amazingly good because he knows.
They should have him telling the quarterback what play to run when he gets to the line.
He had like 13 in a row or something.
He was just reading the defense and going, okay, here's what they need to throw it, or here's what they need to do, and they're going to run it here, and they shouldn't run to the right here and they run to the right, and he basically go. How?
So that's what the guys. Imagine if you had Tony Romo in the booth.
Yeah.
I mean, forget about the booth with the announcing.
You had him upstairs.
And think after all those years, how come the Cowboys couldn't put it away? Something's missing, right?
Something was missing.
Somebody was missing in that arsenal because obviously
maybe he sees the field better from the booth than he did as a quarterback.
He was a really good quarterback,
and he was undrafted.
Oh yeah,
he was an undrafted free agent that Dallas
Northern Illinois or something.
And was basically a walk-on, so to speak.
Wow.
Not drafted. Oh, look at Brady. What is Brady? 6th round?
6th or 7th round.
That's basically a walk-on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's like, hey, what do you want to do with this last pick? I don't know. Does your cousin want to play this year?
Yeah.
Jimmy, you got a friend? Isn't a kid like somebody a place kicker like the secretary's kid? Didn't he kick for somebody?
Secretary's kid.
Let's pick him. Wait. Hang on. That Michigan that tall kid from Michigan.
That's scrawny.
Yeah, the one that didn't play a lot. He was okay. I mean, he looked okay. He's slow.
Yeah.
He's really slow.
He'll probably play for cheap.
Yeah, I mean, he'd be a good backup, right, to Bledsoe. He'll be okay. It's like a gulp. Now, look, I will say this. So I have not like been known to be a Patriots fan.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a Patriots hater. Mm-hmm. So you don't hear me say I hate the Patriots. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of those guys either. But over the last couple of years, and I think it started with the whole deflate the ball thing.
Yeah.
Which I get that whole thing. Do I think it was a little overdone? Probably. Do I really think Tom Brady said make sure they're all like flat because I really like how it feels when our guys catch it better. I don't know if I believe that, but I think somewhere there is some truth to it. Anyway, but there's no way that a team can be assembled the way they do it. You have to just tip your hat to the staff, coaches.
Great coaching beats great players. I'm convinced of that.
But everybody says that, right? I don't think people really believe that. Like if you talk to athletes in general, because like what's going on with the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron trying to get Anthony Davis, I mean, it basically says that no, it's not about coaching. It's about we think he's the best player. We're going to trade away every player we got to get him. But again, look at what the Patriots do, right? They take in trouble. They have a culture. They do things a lot different than everybody else. Everybody buys in, and they take guys that are basically that maybe couldn't even make other rosters because of pure talent, and they're stars.
Yeah.
I mean, Julian Edelman's a great football player, but he's great because of the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He fits their scheme.
Right.
I don't think there's a team in the league that scouts and game plans
as
for the team they're playing against
as good
as they do.
And complete knowledge.
Most other teams, I believe, are like, well, this is what we do when we do it well, so we're going to do it. Well, what about when the other team stops you from doing that? What do you do? And I think a lot of them are just going to, they don't know what the heck to do then. They throw their hands up and go, well, we'll keep trying it. Sooner or later, it might work.
So this is where the question of like Brady's success and, if their offensive line stays really strong, he can play.
Yeah. Oh, dear. You look at the two lines.
Goff was on his back.
It was
pressured all night.
The game was won in the trench, which is normally where it is. And a lot of teams, for some reason, they feel they got to have the high-priced toys of running backs and wide receivers, which is good if you got guys that can block. But if you have no one that can block, it doesn't matter.
You're going to get drilled.
You're going to get killed.
But that's what's so
And that's
neat about
just what
that game
happened.
because I can't name anybody on the defensive line for the Patriots. I can name Aaron Donald and I can name Sue and I can name, it's like we know all those guys.
Yeah.
But can you really? I mean, so if you
I
look
can
at
name Claiborne off them because he played for Atlanta a few years ago.
But no, like everybody's played for somebody else.
Yeah.
But they came from places that they were sort of just mediocre at
Past the
best.
side, yeah.
And then all of a sudden they turn into stars, and it's like it shows you that coaching is critical. And you would think with all I'm so curious to see about the Dolphins, right? So you get a guy, they just hired the defensive coordinator from the Patriots.
Actually, he was the defensive play caller,
not the coordinator.
not the coordinator, which led me to go, what?
So he didn't coordinate, he just called the plays.
He just called the plays.
Isn't
Who knows?
Anyway.
But it was really weird because they made a point of saying he wasn't the coordinator. I'm like, well, what the hell?
Well, who is the coordinator? Then?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Belichick, and he just says, well, you can call the plays during the game, but I'll figure out the game.
Well, they said he's
what
really
we're doing.
good, but I think what I'm getting at is, that culture is hard to. Again, if you don't win, you can't get your players to buy into the culture,
Oh, yeah.
And-
Yeah, it's all, yeah.
and you almost have to get rid of your cancer stars. If you have a star player who's a cancer, just bad for your team, you have to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots have to be that clean. Did you see the video of the Patriots walking in off the AFC game with Brady and Gronk walking back to the bus?
No.
It's just this video on one of their social. It's just like a selfie video.
I didn't
And
see
they're
that.
just smiling like, yeah, we're going to Super Bowl. They didn't say a word.
Yeah.
They're like,
We got it.
and Gronk's like, hey, we did it again. Like everybody said, we're not going to do it. It's like, hey. So
Another day at the office.
Yeah.
golf is part of now. All the football guys get to go play golf.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of them will.
Yeah, well, you'll see a lot of them this week at the AT&T.
Oh, yeah.
Pebble Beach.
They'll be out
You'll
there.
see Brady will probably be there playing.
Romo plays. Right?
Romo plays.
Right.
Chris Chandler plays. Who used to be a quarterback for the Oilers.
A lot of quarterbacks play a lot of golf.
Pitchers and
You'll see
catchers are reporting.
John Smoltz will be out there playing, I'm sure.
He's a good player.
Along with Rick Rhoden's another good
Yeah,
player.
he's always been for
He's
years.
a former pitcher.
Yeah.
And spring training's almost here, man.
That's right. Pitchers and catchers are reporting in now, which means
Really?
the golf courses up in
About to fill up.
Lakeland and everywhere else are going to be very busy. Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
They'll all be hanging out in St. Lucie West.
Yeah, they're coming along. It's time for our break.
Yeah, we'll take a break.
All
When we
right.
get back, we'll wrap up some golf from this past week.
And you got a question, give us a call.
Yeah, 220-9788 is the number. We'll be right back. Yeah, we went to the cigar shop. They had a Super Bowl party at the cigar shop. So they had the boards, the squares. So $5 a square. So I bought a square. My wife bought a square. We left. Just into the third quarter, we left. She gets up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work. So I was like, all right, we'll keep her out too long. She goes in, takes a shower. She goes out. She goes, anything changed yet? I said, well, the Rams are about to try to kick a field goal to get within one score and then hope they get the onside kick. I said, if he makes the kick and they don't score again, I win $250 out of the pool. He missed the fucking kick. I was like, son of a bitch. I was not happy. I'm like, damn it.
It's always some shit like that.
I was like,
so simple, right?
he's a stupid kicker. I was not happy. Priest and a rabbi walk into a brothel.
Hello. Your tunic looks different. What's going on?
Okay. I swear people in my car club or something. Their reading comprehension is very low.
It's income. See ya, Capital Group.
Oh,
14 seconds. 10 seconds.
9, 8, 7. We have ignition. And we're back on the Wednesday Night Golf Show, the Hump Day edition.
I'm good.
Hump Day. Anyway, well, they did play some golf. In addition to Johnny Miller being there to retire from the announcing booth, they did play some golf in Scottsdale, Arizona, at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Local boy Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler was looking real good, man. He was looking great. Got to the 11th tee on Sunday.
Oh.
Had a 5-shot lead.
Oh.
Looked like everything was just going to be real easy peasy.
Really hunky dory.
And
What happened?
but he had a cruel moment of bad luck.
Oh, no.
It started near the green. He pitched his ball beyond the flag and watched it roll through the green, past the bunker, and into the water.
Wow.
So he scouted around the green, trying to figure out where he was going to hit his 5th shot from. Somewhere on the slope behind the putting surface, the ball he had just placed rolled back into the penalty area, which is what they call a water hazard now, to cause an additional penalty because it moved after he placed it.
All right.
He dropped it, wouldn't stay, so he placed it. Well, then it rolled somewhere, and okay, well, now you got another penalty because it rolled into the water.
Oh, my God.
Fowler managed to get up and down for a triple bogey. Wow. By the time he reached the 13th hole, the 13th tee, he went from being ahead by 5 to trailing Brendan Grace by 1 shot.
Wow.
So tough.
This is kind of how snake bit Ricky gets sometimes. I mean, he's had a 54-hole lead 6 times in his PGA Tour career and has only won 1 of those. So you kind of, once that happened, you're kind of going, oh, here we go. He's going to be 1-7, not 1-6. Oh, this is not. But he regrouped. Basically said to his caddy, how about we go out and win this thing? Which is probably a good idea. Took advantage of the 2 risk reward holes coming in, made birdies at the par 5 15th and the par 4 17th, while Brendan Grace found the water on 17 and settled for a bogey. So that was a 2-shot swing there.
That was a gift.
Fowler had a momentary scare on 18 when he found tall grass off the tee, but scrambled for his par. Shot a 3 over par 74 on Sunday, which usually doesn't.
Oh,
No, that usually doesn't convert into a win when you shoot over par on Sunday. But he had a good enough lead, and Brendan Grace started far enough back that it didn't matter. So he wins this thing by 2 shots. He becomes the only player since 1983 to win a PGA Tour event while making a triple bogey and a double bogey in the final round. That's what it was. He wanted to set a record.
what a distinct honor that
Could have been easy otherwise, you know. They asked him after the round what happened, and he says, "I wasn't there for a couple of holes."
He just lost it.
His brain took 2 holes off.
And he checked out.
Yeah, went God knows where. So
Well, at least you know how to get it re-engaged.
yeah. I mean, this is he just switched golf balls. He's playing the new TaylorMade 5-piece TP5 golf ball. Finished 11th. This is what gets me. He finished 11th in driving distance for the week, averaging. Well, on the holes they measure you usually on an upwind hole and a downwind hole and they average them, but 318.7 yards, and that didn't put him in the top 10.
Crazy, right?
That is crazy long.
Good God.
I was like, oh, what? Yeah, that's That's just crazy. That really is crazy to hit a ball that far and not be in the top 10.
Wow. All
How
right.
does that happen?
Hey, let's check with our guys on 15. We'll take our last break.
All right.
All right. Let's do it.
30 yards now. Bill's got a very tough lie here. Looks like we have some sort of sea monster in the water hazard here. I believe that's a kraken, Bruce. Looks like he's going to go with the 9-iron. That may not be enough club. Well, he's definitely going to lose a stroke on this hole.
It's good that he wins though, because I think that's important for everybody. You know.
Yeah.
In a short series of laser-assisted weight loss treatments, you can lose inches of unwanted fat. Call 223-5885. The Slim Body Laser Spa. The wait is over. Lose weight. Feel great and look fantastic. With a little help from Dr. Fred J. Rosacker of Slim Body Laser Spa. East Ocean Boulevard in Stewart. And they're online. Visit our website, slimbodylaser.com. In a few short treatments, you'll see results. Lose 3, 6, even 9 inches of unwanted belly fat. The wait is over. Call today, 223-5885. That's 223-5885. The Slim Body Laser Spa. The wait is over. On your radio at AM 1450. On the web, plus Google Home and Alexa. From the Treasure Coast Toyota Studios, it's WSTU. Treasure Coast Toyota, Federal Highway, Stewart. It's the News Corner. Join us every Tuesday evening as we break down the latest in
How we doing? Get you all charged
Yeah, I'm
up?
up 30%. I'm fine now.
My phone won't, when I plug my phone in, it wants to just download the pictures and then it won't. It's like, dude, I just want to charge the phone.
Well, usually when it pops up on your screen, it's like, oh, you've plugged the device in. What do you want to do with it?
Right, I didn't even get that with your device.
Oh, really? That's it.
Probably because I got something in there that says.
Yeah, you got a software program that
Yeah,
pretty
that's it.
soon it's gonna, skulls and crossbones are gonna come across my screen.
Yeah, really.
Lovely.
I was watching some video, YouTube, some computer guy had one of those guys call him, to try to basically make him. I guess the guy screwed up because he wound up on this guy wound up on the other guy, the scammer's computer, and got in there and started downloading tons of shit. And the guy's like, "Oh, wait, what are you doing? Wait." He goes, "No, you must push on this button." The guy goes, "No, look over here." So he had the guy's computer like deleting shit, doing all kinds of stuff. And then
That's
some
what
guy,
happens when a computer guy
yeah,
that knows more about computers than you do.
yeah. And then some guy called, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you have a virus on your computer," And then they were like, "Oh yeah, you got this virus. Yeah, you need to pay us $2,000." The guy's like, "What?" Well, I guess he was prepared for this, and he was like trying to do something, pretending he was doing something. He was getting his banking thing. Well, the guy took over. The guy started clicking on us. He goes, "What are you doing? No, you can't. No, don't go on my bank account. What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm going to take the $2,000 from you right now." He's like, "No, don't do that, man." Well, the guy clicked on something. It was a virus. And all of a sudden, so that you hear the guy they were scamming. The guy goes, "He's laughing now." He was like, "What did you do? What did you do?" He's like, "I didn't do anything. You did it." And welcome back to the Wednesday Night Golf Show, Hump Day Edition. A couple of rules things happened at Phoenix. One of the new rules prohibits the caddy from standing behind the player while the player lines up and gets ready to hit their shot. No, a little more to the left, a little more to your left.
Hate that rule.
Yeah.
Hate that rule. Think they should be allowed.
Well, at the Phoenix Open, Denny McCarthy, on Friday, his caddy stood behind him while he took a couple of practice swings and never addressed the ball. He never addressed the ball, never actually got in and took a stance to hit it. He took a stance, took a couple of practice swings, his caddy stood behind him, and the caddy moved out of the way. And then Denny walked back and then walked in lined up and hit the shot. Well, they said his caddy helped him before he even. And the rule's very ambiguous. I mean, it's so open ended. It says, when you start to take your stance. Well, when is that? When does that? When does that start? When does that happen?
Right.
And initially, they gave him a 2-shot penalty on Friday, which they then over the weekend, I guess, because of all the moaning and groaning, and I guess some other people pointed out some other players that were kind of standing there as their caddy was telling them something, and okay, then they walked up and to hit the ball, maybe going, okay, you need to line up at that little spot right there, They're like, what's what? When is this? So they basically gave him the 2 shots back. But
Wow.
It's
Golf.
it's crazy.
Vlog.
My man Sergio had a meltdown in Saudi Arabia, was disqualified from the event in South Africa, or excuse me, Saudi Arabia. Yeah, kind of whacked his putter into the green, and was a little irritated at a couple of sand shots he hit. And basically, the European Tour said, "That's enough. Go home and think about how you've acted today."
That's not good, though.
No. It's like, really, guy? Come on, man.
So how's married life treating you after a year?
Little disappointed in him, I must say. Yeah.
Give him a call. You got to text him right now.
Now,
come on, man, Sergio, really?
What the heck, man? Well, a lot of you remember back, God, how many years ago was it that Tiger Woods was playing in the desert, had his ball behind one of those large rocks, and the fans moved the rock out of the way so he could hit. Kind of the same thing for Brooks Koepka. Now, I'll give Tiger credit. He helped. He helped them move it, as did Stevie Williams, his caddy. Brooks Koepka, the guy works out every third day. I mean, he's eating
third day, three times a day.
He's 3 times a day. He's eating protein shakes. He probably spits nails. He just stood there with his hands on his hips and watched the gallery move the rock forward, move this boulder, about the size of a bathtub, move this boulder for him so he can hit his shot. Like, come on, dude, help out, will you?
I hurt my back.
No, didn't want any part of that.
Yeah.
And
you can do that?
Yeah. The fans
it's considered it's not considered a fixed object.
Loose
so
impediment.
You can move it. It's considered a loose impediment.
Depends on what
if you can move it, you can move it. I mean, you can't dig it up out of the ground, but if you can slide it and move it and drag it out of the way, yeah, that's more power to you.
It all depends who you're talking to, right?
Yeah. Now, Bruce Koepka is also the same guy that earlier in the week was complaining about how slow the play is on tour.
He's holding up.
How long did it take them to move his boulder for you, so you could hit a shot?
You got to be careful of what you talk about, because that'll bite you.
Oh, pot meet kettle.
Yeah, absolutely. Bite you back hurt.
Phil Mickelson. They asked him. They said a few years ago you said that your goal was to get to 50 PGA Tour victories. He's got 43. So he says he's not sure whether 7 more wins is realistic for him on the PGA Tour. Might not be.
No.
He had 1 last year. So at that pace,
He'll be 60.
he's
65.
He's getting ready to hit the senior tour.
Yeah.
And he hits the senior tour next year?
Yeah.
That's what
And sometimes you win that. Those guys that do that flop, they get out the senior tour and they find rhythm again.
Yeah.
And they go back and they sneak in, win something.
Yeah. Augusta National has lengthened the 5th hole, par 4, 5th hole.
2.
So one at the top, you play that, and then you come to that par 3,
Yep.
par 3-6 that goes down the hill.
Yep.
I used to run up and down that hill when I was a kid, watching the golf during the practice round.
Right.
I'd go up to the top of the hill.
Run down.
I'd get a couple autographs from the guys as they came off of 5. And if anybody I missed, I'd run down to the bottom of the hill and get them as they finished down on 6th. And then run back up the hill for the next group.
Put you in shape.
Oh, man, I was in great shape. It's going to be 40 yards longer than last year.
It's not a long hole, though.
It's a 400. Now it's going to be a 495-yard par.
Oh my gosh, I'm thinking about something else.
That's a long hole.
Good night.
That's a long par 4.
You're gonna need the MapQuest that one.
The AT&T Pebble Beach, watch it this week. I mean, in addition to all the basically all the advertorials you're going to get for all the CBS television shows,
Right.
you'll
season.
also get to see what the USGA is doing in preparation for the US Open. They're narrowing the fairways and trying to get the most thrown up. So that'll be that could be interesting.
It's always fun to watch that tournament. I'm gonna make sure I watch some of that.
Yeah, I can. I'm sorry, but I can only watch Kevin James
So much.
once or twice, and then I've had enough.
Yeah. You know what we didn't see? I forgot to check on that guy from Korea with the funky follow through.
He will be there. You will
He
see
will
him.
be there, right?
He will. He's playing in this event. Got
This is the guy
invited in.
that falls down.
His last name is Troy. He about falls down, and when he hits. But like Arlen was saying,
Compare him with Charles Barkley. That would be a great.
oh my God! Can you imagine? People would be clawing their eyes out. Why are people throwing themselves into the ocean at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am? And that's it for us, folks. Hey, Waste Management, they're going to sponsor the Phoenix Open through 2030.
Oh, that's a good commitment.
Yeah, that's a
Good to
long
know.
commitment.
Good to know.
So the party will continue.
Awesome. We still got hope to make it.
That's right. And that's it for us, folks. Have a great Wednesday evening. We'll see you next week.
Take care. Well, that was fun.
Oh, shit. I just saw this. What? Wayne Player,
What did Wayne do now?
56-year-old son of Gary Player, arrested.